Yo, what's up? What's up? Good morning. Happy Thursday. It is the weekend eve. Oh yeah, it's a holiday this weekend. So, oh yeah. Shout out to all the fathers. So today, what is money? This is what we're gonna be talking about. Money is like air to me, man. Like not enough of it, it can be deadly. Too much of it, you don't know what to do with yourself. It's kind of like air. So, originally in England, the unit of money was called £1 sterling. That was because it was literally sterling silver weighing £1. I had no idea. Had no idea. As it was quite difficult to carry several pounds of weight of currency around with you, it was arranged that the actual silver could be held in a bank and a promissory note, which was essentially a receipt for the deposit of each pound of silver on deposit. It was much easier to carry these banknotes around and to do business with them. If you wanted to, you could always take these notes to a bank and ask for them to be cashed out. And the bank would hand you the equivalent of sterling in exchange for the notes. Today, the currency in America is banknotes, which are certainly easier to carry around than metal coins. So glad we got past that, boy. Huh? Can you imagine just walking around with pounds? But there is one very important difference. These notes are issued by the private company called the Federal Reserve, which is as good as a name for a company as any other. However, if you were to take one of their banknotes to a branch of that company and ask for it to be cashed, all that it would do is be given another note with the same numbers of credit printed on it, or alternative, other notes with smaller numbers printed on them. This is because, unlike the original banknotes, there is nothing of any physical value backing up the banknotes of today. They are only material worth the physical paper on which they are printed on. It actually gets worse than that. What happens most commonly nowadays is that they don't even bother printing those pieces of paper. Now they just tap some numbers into a computer record, or if they are old fashioned enough, they write the numbers into a ledger by hand. What do those numbers represent? Nothing at all. They actually always get interrupted by something. Gotta let the trash man do his job. So they look like it's gonna be a good day out here. I can feel it. All right. What do those numbers represent? Nothing at all. They actually have no value. In other words, just as much value as if you type them into your own computer. Quite meaningless. And yet, a bank or other financial institution is merely lend you those numbers in return for years of your work, plus interest charges. Now, is it the number? Now, isn't the really generous of them? Actually, this is not at all funny because if you don't keep paying them money earned by your very real work, they will attempt to take your house, possessions away from you. This won't happen if you understand that what you lent was actually valueless. Take the case of Jerome Daly of Minnesota in America. In court, Jerome challenged the right of the bank to foreclose on his house, which had been purchased with a loan from the bank. Jerome argued that any mortgage contract required that both parties, that is, self and the bank, put up a legitimate form of property for the exchange. In legal language, that is called a legitimate consideration put forward by both parties to the contract. Jerome explained that the money was in fact not the property of the bank, as it has been created of nothing as soon as the loan agreement was signed. That is, the money does not come out of the bank's existing assets, as the bank is simply inventing it, and in the bank's existing assets, as the bank is simply, in reality, is putting up nothing of its own except for a fictional liability of paper. As the court case progressed, the fictional, oh wow, I ain't never seen that before. My bad, I'm getting distracted. Okay, so pardon me. Okay, so as the court case progressed, the president of the bank, Mr. Morgan, took the stand and admitted that the bank, in combination with privately owned commercial company called the Federal Reserve Bank, created the entire amount of the loan in credit in its own books by means of bookkeeping entry. The money and credit coming into existence when they created it. Further, Mr. Morgan admitted that no United States law or statute exists which gives him the right to do this. A lawful consideration must exist and must be tendered to support the loan agreement. The jury found that there has been no lawful consideration put forward by the bank. So the court rejected the bank's application for foreclosure, and Jerome Daly kept his home debt free. So basically, Jerome Daly went to the courts and was like, look, this ain't a real contract, man. He challenged the banks and he won. So now he got his house free and clear. That is exactly the situation with all American mortgages. When someone makes an application for a mortgage or any other loan, the applicant's signature is required on the application form before the loan is approved. The signature on that signed application makes it a valuable piece of paper, which the bank can deposit in its accounts as a credit to the bank for the amount of the loan. The bank could just keep the application form and stay ahead by 100,000 or whatever, but they want more, much more. They want the borrower to pay them that same amount again, funding it by years of labor, and not only the amount supposed loan, but significant extra amount in interest as well. Why do you think they are so keen to lend you the money? They are even willing to lend you money with poor credit, as there is no other way banks can lose out on a deal, no matter what happens. That's true. The bank will lend you money if your credit score is shot. This is why if a company starts demanding payment of large sums of money, you start by asking them to provide the accounting for the deal. In other words, you are asking them to show in writing that they provided something of genuine worth as their side of the loan contract. As they invented the money as numbers in their books with no real worth attached to those numbers, they are in deep trouble as they can't comply with your demand to see their accounting for the deal. Did you ever wonder how the average banks manage to make hundreds of millions of dollars profits every year? Where you're looking right at where a large chunk of it comes from. Mortgages, basically. Man, that's a cold thing. So your mortgage is not a real contract. Why? Because the bank doesn't sign. You're the only one signing. Well, we're the only one signing. I know when I looked at mine, I was like, yo, I'm the only one signing. The bank didn't do anything. Anyway, that's all I got for today. I hope y'all have a great day. And we out.